Chapter 1, 1950 to 1977, Texas Pedigree. Vince Lombardi, the famous former coach, once said, "Football is a great deal like life, in that it teaches that work, sacrifice, perseverance, competitive drive, selflessness, and respect for authority is the price that each and every one of us must pay to achieve any goal that is worthwhile." Nowhere is this truer than in the great state of Texas. In most Texan towns, Friday nights are reserved for football. Stores close early, the downtown streets empty, and there's a glow in the sky on the distant horizon, the glow of Friday night lights. The legendary high school football coach Ray Akins knew what it was like to stand in the glow of those Friday night lights. After serving in the Marines during World War II and fighting in Okinawa, Japan, Akins returned to Texas and coached for the better part of 4 decades, including an amazing run at Gregory Portland Independent School District from 1965 until he retired in 1988. He won around 300 games during his 23-year career at Gregory Portland, and even led a team quarterbacked by his son all the way to the 1971 state finals, where they unfortunately lost the championship game by just 1 point. Ray Akins was inducted into the Texas Sports Hall of Fame in 1992. But that's not his only claim to fame. He also happens to be Drew Brees' maternal grandfather. Following the success of the 1971 Gregory Portland team, colleges heavily recruited Ray's son, Marty. During a recruiting visit to South Bend, Indiana, Marty fell in love with the University of Notre Dame. He was strongly considering becoming a Fighting Irish before the realities of his father's job became clear to him. Ray would not be able to attend any of Marty's games if he went to school out of state. There was too much to do to prepare for those high school football games in Texas. Ray, however, made it clear that he would support his son in whatever decision he made. "I'll never forget my dad saying, 'I'm a high school football coach, and you know how Friday nights are and how we spend Saturday mornings planning for the next game,' Marty Akins said. He said, 'I'll never get to see you play one college football game if you go to Notre Dame. But if that's where you want to go, that's great.' He would, of course, watch every one of Marty's games on television, but he would not be able to make the trip from the southern coast of Texas to northern Indiana and back in one day and still get all his work done. For Marty, that was a game changer. He wanted his mother and father to have the chance to come to his games and watch him play, so Marty took a visit with the University of Texas at Austin. While Marty had played for Gregory Portland, his father was harder on him than on any other player. They studied the game and watched tapes of games all the time. They talked defensive schemes and ways to break them down offensively. He was a true student of football. After Marty's visit, University of Texas head coach Darrell Royal knew he had found his quarterback of the future. Marty was big, tough, and knew the game well enough to adjust to Coach Royal's wishbone offense, which is when the quarterback must either pitch the ball to the running back or run the ball, rather than throwing it. "I ran the ball in high school, but mostly I threw the ball," Marty remembered. "Coming to Texas and running the wishbone was something new for me." This adjustment required a quarterback who wasn't afraid to take a hit and was humble enough to play within the system. Coach Royal wanted Marty Akins to be his quarterback at Texas, and once Marty decided he wanted to play close to home, he knew he was going to be a Longhorn at the University of Texas at Austin. It didn't hurt that Coach Royal brought former President Lyndon B. Johnson to the recruiting meeting with the Akins family. "Here I was, a high school kid, sitting down with President Johnson," Marty recalled. "He was bigger than life. He seemed like a giant of a person to me." Marty was sold. He committed to play for the Texas Longhorns. Marty Akins arrived in Austin as a freshman in the fall of 1972 and spent his first season as the backup quarterback. He learned everything he could from Coach Royal and starter Alan Lowry, while the Longhorns went 10-1, ending the season as the third-ranked team in the Associated Press poll. It didn't take long for Marty to win the starting spot, and by the spring practices of his first year, he was QB1. During his second season, he piloted Texas to a 6th consecutive Southwest Conference title, with an 8-3 overall record and 7-0 in the Southwest Conference. Unfortunately for Marty, his first season as a starter ended with a bad 19-3 loss to 12th-ranked Nebraska in the 1974 Cotton Bowl Classic. He was in his final season in